Accept. Some good morning. Good Friday morning. Welcome to integrating technology and observation and into assessments. So welcome to today's. I hope that you guys can see the slides advancing along with me. That one went a little bit too far. So I'm going to go back. All right, awesome. So welcome to today's session, integrating technology and observation and assessment. My name is Sonia Hall. If you've never had the pleasure of meeting me, I would love to meet you guys at some of our upcoming conferences. We have one coming up in February. It will be in Novi at the Suburban Showplace. And I normally have a table there. So if you would like to stop by the MyYDA table, that is our credential program that we have through the Michigan After School Partnership and our partnership with MyLeap. So if ever you're at a conference, please stop by and say hello and greet me. I would love to meet you guys outside of Zoom. And my role at Michigan After School Partnership, I serve as the professional development manager. So I host most often these sessions that you guys see happening and making sure that they're all structured out. I also, as I mentioned just now, I am also partnering with MyLeap on the credential program, and that's called the Youth Development Associate Program. So it's an honor to professionalize the youth development advocates that are actually working in direct service with young people. So that's an honor of mine. So I am excited to share also just a few tools that can be used when you are attempting to integrate technology into observation and into assessment. If you were with us on Monday, we had a really great team that presented on some different formats and tools that could be used when doing learning outcomes for out of school time. And they presented some information that I will capture and bring forth in this training as well, and bring that into your view. This is really more so about applications, technology, digital platforms that can be used. You're going to have a moment to kind of like talk with your peers as well. We'll get more into that a little bit more as we move into the slides. But just to be fair, I want to mention just a couple of things that we will cover, like Padlet. If you've never heard of Padlet, we'll cover that. If you've never heard of Canva, we're going to talk about how you can use that as well in observation, and then Google Forms as well. You can also use your Microsoft suites along with observation tools as well. We also at Michigan After School Partnership, we do a land acknowledgement. I'm not going to ask each person if they would like to come off mute and read it. I am going to just go ahead and read through this on my own. This is just about, just bringing in that, the inclusion into our sessions and just acknowledging those who have been here before us and who have actually been here on this land. So if you can just give me grace this morning, I am going to read through each one of the bulleted points that you see here on the screen. And when you come to future trainings with us, I would love for you guys to, if you feel comfortable coming off mute, to help me to read these. But for the purpose of our time together, I'm just going to go ahead and go through each one. The land acknowledgement says this: we want to acknowledge our current experiences in 2 pandemics respectfully, and that people have stewarded the land we occupy throughout the generations. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in the hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land for more generations that can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. We are standing on the ancestral lands of the Wyandot Nation. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any public events. I chose a Wyandotte Nation. I am from Detroit, and that is the nation and the tribe that mostly populated this area. If you would like to know the nation or the tribe that populates your area, there is a link for that, and I will send that in the follow email if you guys are interested in discovering that truth. Moving forward into our slides. We're just going to cover the agenda. I'm going to give you guys a second to kind of look over the agenda and what we're all going to cover today. If you will notice, there are some polls that we may drop down. If you don't drop those down, then I will just read them out and have you guys enter them into the chat box, your answers. There are going to be 2 breakout sessions as well. In between those breakout sessions, you guys will have the opportunity for a 10-minute break so that you can grab more coffee or a bio break or whatever you need. Give you guys a second to look that over. All right, moving on, I am going to launch the first poll. Give you guys a few seconds to start populating your answers. Awesome. Are you guys able to see the results in real time from the poll? How about now? Is it showing up over that way for you guys? Is it showing it off? No. Sarah's like, it is not. When I end it, maybe it will give me the option to go ahead and share it. All right, just a few more seconds. I know some just entered into it, just let a few folks into the space. If you've not had a chance to take the poll, please go ahead. Right now, I'm seeing that 58% of you feel very comfortable with using technology in your space. That is huge. And 42% are saying that they feel comfortable, and no one felt uncomfortable at all. So that is good to know. I'm going to end the poll. Then I'm going to share the results. Are you guys able to see them now? Awesome. Thank you so much. Very good. So as I mentioned, you guys will see the percentage is pretty high for those that feel very comfortable using technology in their space. And I wonder, from my statistics brain, if that had a lot to do with the pandemic, where we just had to pivot. We had to learn how to make use of technology. So I wonder if that is where most of us learned our comfort level. I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to move us further into the rest of our content. So why use technology in observations? It's around efficiency. Using technology to observe and assess youth and programs, activities, it brings tremendous benefits. It increases efficiency, helping reduce the manual work that we often are required to do and what we have going on out of school time, that requirement to track attendance. Most often, what I have discovered from visiting certain programs, they're still using a lot of paper when they're taking their attendance for today. But incorporating technology into that could really ease up that the stress of the paper, having to print it, having to manage it, keep collection of all that. So incorporating technology into that is essential and beneficial. So tools like Google Forms or Trello. I don't know if you've ever heard of Trello. We will dig into that a little further, and I'll send the link to Trello so you'll get a chance to look at what that's all about. Kind of assist you and allows you to streamline and process different things going on around attendance and how you're capturing that data. Some of those standardized tools, they do improve your accuracy as well by ensuring consistent data collection, such as Padlet. I mentioned that. I will be dropping links to these into the chat box, so don't have any fear about that, and we will go over them a little bit deeper. Canva can also be used as a source of engagement. We often use Canva when we are building out our spreadsheets or we're doing marketing. We often thinking about Canva in that way, but we can use Canva also to capture data. And then also once you get that data and you start analyzing it, Canva could help you in the presentation end of things as well. If you're presenting it to your stakeholders, like your funders, you're presenting it to teachers, administrators at the school, if you're working in a school district, presenting that information to your board, I would hugely recommend using Canva once you do have your data. You just want to make it, look presentable to that audience. So using Canva is also hugely encouraging. It just makes it easier when you're gathering and also presenting that meaningful information. Just finally, another reason to use technology and information, these digital tools, they help you to communicate those data points, like I just mentioned, with your families and all of your stakeholders in a more effective way. So using data and using data tools, I have found is hugely essential. I worked in out of school time for 10 years, and starting off, yes, I used quite a bit of paper. Quite a bit of it. And then I would be sometimes at my site way past the time that I wanted to be there, just trying to capture everything, looking over everything. But if I use those digital tools earlier on, I think I could have cut my time down. My presentation would have looked way better. So incorporating technology into your observation is hugely important. There are some tools that I have started using and that I recommend. Most of these are free. You can also get a free prescription even to Canva, or you can get the teaching subscription, should I say, to Canva. So you don't have to pay a fee for this. In our organization, we have Canva at no cost. Trello, there's a free subscription to this Trello as well. Padlet, there's also a free subscription to that. As you know, Google Forms, if you have a Google account, those things are free to you. I often look for the ones that are free first. Those that are in my Whitey Head cohort on here, I always say find those things that are free and then move into anything that you would have to pay for. So do your research. We know that Mizzen by Mott is another tool. It is something that came out quite a few years ago that is very specifically designed for after school. So if you are not familiar with Mizzen by Mott, I do believe it's called Mizzen Education now. I think they changed their name. But I'm familiar with it being Mizzen by Mott. And even if you typed Mizzen by Mott into your Google search, you're still going to get the information around what this app can do for you. It is one that you can keep on your phone. So it makes it really easy. It's not just one that you have to keep on your laptop or your dashboard, but you can really use this on your phone as well. The Mizzen by Mott app, what I like about that app is that it not only tracks your attendance, but it also tracks the professional development for your staff. It also tracks your lunch time, every single thing that you do, every movement that you do in your program, the Mizzen app can track that for you. Another good thing that I like about it is that it provides curriculum. So if you typed in that you wanted to do something around science or STEM, let's just use STEM, you could type that into your app and you will get a list of curriculum that is research-based, aligned to standards from that app as well. So MISM is huge. So I would strongly encourage that one because it's, once again, been developed just for after-school programming. I'm going to show you guys an example of how I used some Google Forms, Google Docs for my program as well. The reason that I love Google Forms and Google Docs because it does allow for you to not only capture that data, but the Google Docs will allow you to collaborate with your key staff members as well. So incorporating that into it, and then from there, you can go in and start creating tables. You can analyze that data. Once again, your Excel spreadsheets as well. You can use that, create pivot tables, analyze that data, break it down. And that's another piece that I would recommend. So it's not not that paper, but it is a spreadsheet that if you did need to go in there and make some edits, you can. And it will allow you to break down and build charts out. What I love about Excel is that you can begin to build out a chart in any kind of way that you would like to build it out, and then present that information to your stakeholders as well. Just a little bit more about Padlet. If you've never heard about Padlet, that's another tool that allows you to collaborate. It's a digital board where staff can share real-time observations, can share your ideas, reflections during activities. You can actually do all of that in Padlet. So if you've never heard of it or never used it, I would strongly encourage that you get familiar with it. And then Trello is just perfect for organizing your tasks. So if you are one that you like to organize, Trello is one that can do that for you. And it also tracks the implementation of the assessment results to improve your program quality. So I will be dropping those links into our chat box as we move forward. So for this, I'm going to put you guys in a breakout room, and our very first one. We do have two, as we saw in the agenda earlier today. So in this group that I'm going to put you guys in, I want you guys to just discuss how you would use, and let me see how many groups. First of all, I'm going to put you guys in maybe 3 groups. And in those 3 groups, I'm going to share a link to Padlet for one group, a link for Canva for another, and a link to Trello for the 3rd group. And I want you guys to take some time to go through each one. You do not have to sign up. Everything should be right there on their landing page where you can get an idea of what they're offering and some of their resources and objectives. And what I would like for you guys to do is to go through each one, depending on the group that you're going to be in, be it the Padlet group, be it the Trello group. And then I'm going to put you guys in, and I want you guys to start looking it over and discussing how you would make use or could make use of this in your program. So give me a moment to just build out our breakouts. You will be in there for 10 minutes. And if you need more time, just chat with me and let me know that you would need more time. But I think 10 minutes is actually going to be enough time for you guys to go ahead and to get started and having a conversation. My ask while you're in there is that you at least assign someone to take notes for you, because when we come back to the larger group, I'm going to ask you guys to share out what you kind of discovered during looking at these different platforms and how you would make use of it. So give me a moment. We're going to make 3 breakout rooms. And right now, you'll know what group you're in by the link that I'm going to pop into your actual breakout room. All right. You should start seeing it pop up. When you see it, go ahead and accept it. Trying to make sure that I create enough rooms properly. Here. Some will have 4, some will just have 3. All right, all the rooms are opening. Wait for me to pop those links in. So I will be visiting each breakout room and providing you guys with those links. But go ahead and join your breakout. All right, welcome back, everyone. We have 3 breakout rooms, and for room 1, we had folks looking over Padlet. For room 2, we had everyone looking over Trello, and for group 3, I was going to have them just kind of look at Google Forms, but I'm kind of glad I changed my mind at the last second and had them look at Airtable. And Jill was like, oh, Airtable. So I was really excited that, and I see Sarah nodding her head. So you guys are familiar with that. So I'm looking forward to you guys sharing when it's time. We are actually going to go in the order in which you guys were just referenced. So starting with group 1, if we have a speaker from group 1, please go ahead and share with us. Feel free to come off mute and share with us what you've learned about Padlet and how we could possibly make use of it.
I assume they voted me.
You would be correct.
So I've used Padlet before. As I was explaining in my usage, we use it for a lot of one-off activities, things that are not necessarily deeply curriculum, don't have a lot of moving pieces and parts. You can become more complex with it when making your boards, but that isn't how we've used it to date. I explained that the sandbox feature is one feature that we don't use because we have a number of our flagship programs that we use Google Classroom for. However, that's another option for organizing the information, depending on what your lesson is. If it's like I said, a one-off that might not last many weeks. We have a few legacy programs that are by semester, so they are multiple weeks. So the classroom structure just works better for that type of information. But yeah.
So you are familiar with it. Have you used it? Do you use it for observation? Have you ever used it? I know you said for a one-off.
I think last year when we were collecting anecdotes for YPQA, we did use it in place of using the Post-it notes around the room, again, just for added interactivity, because it can come off rather uninteresting to the youth of today. Yeah, I think we started, we had a guest who was also monitoring us for anecdotes, but while we were talking through each of the sections, just so that they wouldn't be rushed or even embarrassed to have to come up to the paper and write. If everybody was using their phones to do it through Padlet, I got all their input on the anecdotes. Yeah.
Good, because it's like a collaborative tool. So you're seeing
Right.
those. Yeah, very good. Awesome. I like the way that you use that. It's pretty awesome. Thank you for that information. And once again, you guys who have all this in a follow-up email, instead of me trying to drop everything in a chat box, I would just send every link into a follow-up email for you guys. So you can just click it as you would like to. All right. Thank you, group 1. Good information. All right, group 2, Trello.
So basically Trello is this team management platform. They utilize cards and boards, so you can choose a template if you want or make your own. Create different cards for tasks like to-do lists that you need to do, or just to give out general information, or to they had some templates where they had like explaining how to use the board and then links and contact information, or like for onboarding, giving a card showing who's who in the company. So if anyone new comes in, they can kind of get a visual of who's there. And then even with the tasks that they have, you could put in information or related resources in order to complete that task. And then they have it where you can set up due dates and you can mark the difficulty level of it. And then overall, I think it's really good for basically like not just for like integration with the team, but like even for like team leader to kind of see who all has what to do. And it's all in one spot. And then you can see what's getting done in that one spot without having to like go to people individually or go to different platforms. Like on Teams, you usually what happens is you talk to each person individually with their set of tasks that they're supposed to do, while this kind of puts it all together. Your members have their individual boards with their list of tasks, but then as a leader, you have access to all of that and you can adjust it or update it as you will. So I think that's like really useful in making everything kind of streamlined to make it easier for stuff to get done for you as a leader or as a team member to see what's getting done and what needs to be done in the future.
I love that. Thank you so much for that breakdown. And it's similar in a way to Padlet, because you can see what's happening. So PQA was mentioned, and we all know, and I'm not going to share that here, but I will in a follow-up email. We use, if you're 21st century funded, PQA is that tool that you are often using and trained on. But if you use Trello, so here it is, you can give your team, your staff, for example, the safety area. And then they will be able to take notes on what is happening in the building all around safety. So you have each team person just capturing a snapshot of what is going on around those different areas. If you want to go in and put notes on the attendance, or what it looks like during supper time or a certain activity. So we did a lot of tracks in my former program. And so we did 2 tracks a day. So being a STEM focused program, we would teach engineering in one room and then science in our science lab. So just knowing who was there, the activity and what's going on. Trello is that app, I think, that would be able to track that for you and compile and all that information. A good thing about both of these too is that you can pull reports from them and analyze it. So that is hugely essential and I think beneficial. So moving into group 3, they were given Airtable. Who's our speaker for group 3?
Surprise, it's me. If you would like, Sarah has our Airtable thing on her computer. If you'd like her to share that.
I would. I'm actually going to stop sharing so that she can. Who's sharing? Sarah?
Sarah.
Okay, Sarah, I'm going to make you co-host so that you can share. There you are. You should be seeing that pop up now. And so now I'm going to stop sharing.
Yes, show that screen first. So we use Airtable here at The Rock all the time, a lot. This is the screen of all our different Airtables. And if she scrolls down, you'll see there's a lot more here than. Wow. And we use them for everything. They're very valuable for, she's going to go into our attendance.
Okay.
So for attendance, all the numbers get entered every day for all 3 sites, and you can see how they run. And then along the left-hand side, you can change your views. You can have total numbers, average per month, monthly totals, or by week. And you can set up whatever view you want. And what's nice about this is you can track how many days, how many people per day, per site total. You can send all of these numbers to your grants and licensing, whatever. Mm-hmm. The other nice thing, and then if you look down lower on the left-hand side, it says create. Those are your tools to create the different looks and boards and things. The other thing is you can also do language collection instead of data collection. Instead of numbers collection. So we do testimonials and student of the month and conferencing. Scheduling conferencing is really complicated because who's flying on what plane where kind of thing. That's all in there. So awesome. It just, you can use it for pretty much anything, and we do.
Very good. So this is absolutely amazing because you're doing like the mixed methods. You're getting your quantitative and your qualitative data from this. And exactly. You know, that is what funders want to see. They don't just always want those numbers. They want to hear, how's this benefiting the families? How is this really benefiting the students? So getting that in there, Airtable, guys, that is going to be the digital tool to get this done, to get this work done. Once again, I will send this link out to you. And I, if I have permission, would love to send information from the ROC team to you guys if you want to pick their brains on how to make use of this in your actual program. I am quite sure this has eliminated tons of paperwork for you.
Yeah, and we collect question of the week, we collect survey data, we collect I don't know, anything you can think of that needs, you can do events. We have events on there. If you look, there's a golf scramble, there's the summer auction, summer camps. I mean, anything you need to keep track of can go in there. You just set up the table.
Very good. Well,
actually, she sets up the table.
Table. Awesome job, The Rock. Good job, Sarah. I will be attaching your contact information into the follow-up email. I'm quite sure you may be getting a lot of folks emailing you. This is a recorded video that is also going on our YouTube channel. So look for a lot of contacts in the future as well. Thank you guys. Each group, you did a phenomenal job capturing what each one does and the importance of how to use it in observation and how to use that in assessment. So thank you guys so much for that. Great job on that first breakout. We are now going to advance further into our slides and move into what's next. Awesome. All right. So we mentioned tools for data collection. We talked about Airtable. I'm quite sure you guys are familiar with the Google Forms, which gives you that real-time feedback and also allows you guys to do that data analysis. We had the groups also cover Padlet. And thank you guys for the group 2 that covered Trello and how you broke that down and how that can be used. And I would encourage you, if it's free and it's something that you can sign up for free by using your school email, organization, feel free to sign up for them and just test them out. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we navigate further into the slides. So how to choose the right tool for your organization, for your program. I recall when I first started being 21st Century program, we had to use Easy Reports. Anybody familiar with Easy Reports? So we had to use it. It was mandated that we make use of Easy Reports. And it's a great tool because it also captures your attendance. You can put in all of your sessions. So it tracks those over time. And so one thing that I kind of would have loved to have from Easy Reports is what Airtable provides. What the Google Form provides is that collaborative concept and ability. So it was a more of a statewide 21st century type of program. And they did analyze all that for us, the great folks at Michigan State University, who provided us with a great document toward the end in our leading indicators report. So that information is all essential. But I want you guys to begin to start thinking about if you're using that, what are some other tools? And if you do not have access to something like an easy reporting system, because you're not a 21st century program, you are just receiving out of school time funds right now, or you are funding your own site, you're receiving philanthropic dollars or something from a private organization, and you do not have those digital tools, the Airtable, the Padlet, the Trello, and the Google Forms are ones that I would highly recommend. But choosing the right tool for you is going to be also super, super important. So choose ones that are easy for your staff to grasp and understand. You know your staff better than anyone. You know what they're able to learn quickly. So make sure that your staff is able to adopt and quickly learn this new tool that you're going to implement. Another thing is, does it protect the data? Can it be encrypted? That is hugely important. Coming from that 21st century world, I had to make sure that all of my data was locked up. I could not leave it unlocked. I had to keep it for about 7 years. That was another thing around that data. So you need to make sure that whatever tool you're using, that it can grow with you, it can stay with you, and that you can secure that data because it's sensitive information that you are receiving. And then cost, that's another thing that you want to consider. If you're a smaller organization and you don't have a large budget, you really need to make sure that it's affordable for you. A lot of after school programs are not receiving those 21st century dollars, or funders are not really giving you that amount that you may need to pick something grand. So make sure that you're choosing something free first and affordable. That is my mantra. And then, does it meet specific needs for the program reporting and assessment? Jill mentioned that they're able to create forms to give out to the funders, to give out to the stakeholders. If it does not allow for that, that may not be the tool for you. Funders are going to ask for that data. They're going to ask for an annual report. They want it when they want it. Some are monthly. Some are looking for you guys to provide that information on a monthly basis. And you need to make sure that this tool, whatever one you choose, is able to do the reporting and the assessment for you as well. Sitting there trying to analyze that data on your own is time consuming. And if you don't have that skill set to do it, could just blow your mind. But if it has a tool in there to analyze it for you and to break it down and drill it down even further, depending on what the funder is asking for, then those are the things that you should be looking for when you're trying to choose the right tool for your organization. So the benefits of digital tools and after-school programs are this. The streamline, we've heard that mentioned a couple of times now throughout the presentations. It streamlines that documentation of activities and the outcomes. The outcomes are important, okay? Every single organization should be looking at those outcomes, all right? Engages the youth and staff in a reflective practice. So is there a way, for example, looking at Padlet, there's a way to incorporate your staff in there. Each one has a board. It's collaborative. You can do reflections and practice those reflections using that tool as well. And does it build stronger connections with families through those shared insights? How do you share that data? Is there a way that you can create just a board, just a digital something to share with families in your e-newsletter, or even in your physical newsletter from looking at that data? Your administrators, I worked in a school district. So how many students were added to my program? How many students did I assist in improving their letter grade and improving in their behavior? Those data pieces matter. So those are some of the benefits. I'm quite sure tons of other benefits, but those are just some of the benefits. So now I'm going to release another poll. And the question is around, which digital tools are you currently using for observation and assessment? If you do not see yours listed here, then feel free to put that into the chat box, which ones you are using. Give me a moment to go ahead and launch that. Okay, you guys should see that on your screen now. Oh, wow. Google Forms jumped to 100. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Very good. And once again, if you do not see yours listed, go ahead and type it into the chat box. The one that you are currently using. All righty, I see that it's slowing down. So I'm going to go ahead and share the results. And I have a question for someone that chose one of these on here. Actually, a couple of questions. So I'm going to end the poll, share the results. Give me a thumbs up if you actually see those results on the screen. You guys seeing them? Not yet? Awesome. Thank you, Jill. I see you're not. Thank you so much. Wow, a lot of you are using Google Forms. Wow, and it's like neck and neck with Microsoft Word and Excel. Very good. I mentioned that I created an Excel spreadsheet, and we also use Google Classroom. So we had 24 sites, and every single site had their own classroom, and I would make sure that they had their own forms. I went into the PQA tool I went through licensing and the Michigan Out of School Time Standards, and I created a spreadsheet, a form that they can go in and check off that they were meeting those or doing those, and they would be able to add in any type of documentation around what was working or what was not working. So I've used the Microsoft Excel and the Word, but there is someone on here who was using the Mizzen by Mott and the Class Dojo. Would that person like to maybe possibly come off mute and tell us how they're using those apps in their program? Or you can type it in the chat box and I can read it for you as well.
Is that me again? So yes, Bizen, was that last year before last? Our STEM lab manager recommended it as a resource. So they have a full calendar. You can whittle it down to whatever subject matter it is that you're working on, but they have an actual calendar that provides the lesson plans, resources, activities, any supplementary videos. So, for instance, this year I have two one new high school, one returning high school, but neither of these were my schools last year. I had a different school last year. So during our welcome week, but definitely if we have a fun Friday, I might pull an activity from Mizzen either as an icebreaker activity, or especially if it's a fun Friday and maybe we have a theme. So we do fun Fridays if there's a professional development day that shuts down one of our regular days of programming or a half day or something like that. We'll do a fun Friday just so we don't lose the day or the time.
Yeah.
But depending on whatever the theme is that the students have voted on, I might pull an activity from Mizzen, one, so that it's randomized for all of us and not just for them. But they have a wealth of resources themed by a variety of categories and age groups. So you can plug in what age group you're working with, the type of activity you're looking for, and it will open up an entire, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but just all of the results will be grouped together and you can figure out exactly what activity you want to do, which one will work with your particular group. So definitely as a, not our main resource, but an excellent backup resource.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for always sharing. I do appreciate you. So if I may ask, who was using the Class Dojo?
My name is Miss Mama Wiley. We were using the Class Dojo. I first wanted to say I've been a teacher for 20 plus years. So I've used everything that everyone has said.
Okay.
I own my own business now. So I started using Class Dojo about 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I use it for data as far as attendance. I like it because it's real time videos and assessments. So it's good for parent surveys. You can actually show the parents what the children are doing because I personally don't have a camera. And I have my own reasons why I choose not to do that.
Sure.
But I don't have a camera in my building. But as a mother myself, I understand the anxiety. School is not like it used to be when I taught before. So I use that for that. So it has surveys on it. You can put your documents on it as far as the state. I also use Brightwheel. That's another app that I use. It kind of does the same thing, but Class Dojo is free. Brightwheel I have to pay for. But I just like Class Dojo, and it's school wide, and you can send messages and it gives quality and quantitative data. So, it does everything, and my time is precious. So I like apps that can help me organize.
Absolutely. And this is what this training is all about, is how do we regain some of our time by using app and using applications that are going to assist us when it comes down to analyzing, creating reports, sharing that data out to our stakeholders. So thank you guys so much for sharing all that. I'm going to stop sharing our results. I'm going to take us further into our slides. We have come upon our 10-minute break. This is a time to grab some coffee. That's what I will be doing. The protein in there, getting in as best I can. You need a bio break. You need to go out and just get some air on your face or just stretch yourself. You have 10 minutes to do that. I am going to pause our recording and then let's all come back together at 10:21, 10:22-ish. See you guys in 10 minutes. All right, welcome back, guys. I hope you had a chance to grab some coffee or take a break and just woosah for a moment on this lovely Friday. Welcome back in our space. We are going to move forward. We have our second breakout. I'm sorry, no, that's not breakout. No, it's breakout. Our second breakout session that will be starting right now. I'm going to actually put you guys in two groups, 6 per group. And what we're going to talk about is just some of the challenges and solutions and using tech for assessment and even using tech for observation. So let's just have a organic conversation around some challenges and any solutions that some of you may have around those challenges. My ask once again is that you guys, when you go into these breakouts, that you choose someone to be the speaker and that you guys are having those conversations, that someone is once again chosen to be the speaker. So when we come back together, they can present out. I'm going to open up the breakout rooms. When you see that pop up, go ahead and join. And once again, we're talking about challenges and solutions and using tech for assessment and even using it for observation. I am opening up all those rooms now. All right, welcome back, everyone. So the first group, who do we have as our speaker from group 1? In group 1, we had, that was Brooke's group, Carol, China, Christina. We're all in that group. Who's the brave speaker?
We didn't assign one. I think we forgot that part. But we had a really nice talk. We all have various experiences with the challenges, but most of us have used most of us have used Google Forms. And some of the challenges that we've experienced with that was the usability. Sometimes, especially if it's for a student, they didn't necessarily have the ability to properly use it, and sometimes parents too. Some used easy reports, paper form for observations, PQA paper form. A couple of us have used Survey Monkey. And the consensus basically overall in terms of challenges has been the surveys that we're sending out and for the data that we're trying to get back, in order for us to have a presentable format, it's a lot of analyzing of the data that's coming back, because we're not asking closed-ended questions. We're asking open-ended questions because we want true feedback. When you have a lot of different answers, there's not a true way of getting all of that back, and you're only asking a certain number of questions because you don't want to overwhelm them either, right? So being able to present that in a way that makes sense to our stakeholders, our districts, our parents, and all the people. And I don't think any of us really had a great solution for that. So if anyone has that, we look forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you so much for going. I appreciate it. And yeah, it is easier to analyze the quantitative data, those numbers. You have so many different things that you can do with it and create your charts and everything off of it. And then when you're looking at that qualitative piece, it takes a lot of combing through. I have found looking for trends and themes from the qualitative data is very, very important. Yes, that still involves time because you have to look for those trends, but there is, even if you did a word cloud, SurveyMonkey allows for you to do a word cloud and it begins to populate those words from the qualitative data that arise the most. So that's an easy way to kind of pick out some trends and start developing themes. I know for my doctoral study, I had to sit there and pull out all the themes. And once I found my themes, then I would start putting the trends and the words that were coming up the most under those themes. So even though it's time consuming, once you find that theme, I would suggest maybe 5 good, strong themes. You can start populating those words that are coming up the most under those themes and phrases as well. Any other, anyone want to offer any solutions to that? And I'll give it the good old teacher wait. If I hear none, I'll move on to the next group. Hearing none, we're going to move on to Jill Katie's team. Do we have two Katies on that team? Awesome. Robert's like, I've talked already. Yeah.
I was told I have to talk because when
I'll
they
read
talk,
your
it creates an
mind.
echo.
Okay.
So,
Yes, ma'am. All right.
all right. So one of my personal difficulties is we use a lot of different apps and a lot of different programs, and getting those to talk to each other is a challenge, or having someone moving the data from one thing to another. That's my personal challenge. But then we kind of moved into family engagement. And the things that we use for family engagement were things like surveys, events, and what did you say, Robert? Cards, gift cards. So I can see where these kind of Airtable, I could see it being a family engagement Airtable and entering all that data in there about what promotions have we done, what did it cost, the materials, how many gift cards have we given out, how many family prizes have we given out. Here at The Rock, we do a segment in our newsletters where we have a riddle from one of our board members. It's called Laughter with Latte. If you answer the thing right, you get put in a drawing. Just to get parents to read the newsletter, because that's a challenge. So you can use these tools to track all these things and kind of get an idea of what you're spending on it and what works and what doesn't work.
And so once again, this was the Airtable tool where you would create a board that would do all of those processes for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Awesome. Thank you for that. Do you have any other tips or solutions that may want to be surfaced around some of the challenges that Jill just mentioned? All right, once again, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and advance into our slides. Some best practices. I'm all around best practices for tech integration and best practices all around, especially in out of school time. I would strongly suggest starting small. Do not try to start too big and go too broad. We have mentioned quite a few different tools that can be used and integrated into your out of school time program. And I'm going to send you a list of quite a long list of others that you can start looking at and integrating. Going back to looking at your organization, looking at how your staff and how they grasp the knowledge and the information is also very important to take into consideration when you're introducing technology, integrating that. So try to start small when you're introducing something, just maybe one tool at a time. And it's okay when you introduce it, you're like, this isn't the one. Start earlier on in the year. This is a really great time to start now, because when you come back from that break, you may want to say, this is the one that we're going to move forward with for the remaining school year. And so just once again, start small, provide training, make sure that you guys are, if you're over technology and you're that director, make sure you've taken the time to go through it yourself, that you've researched, that you've tried it on your own and created something, a checklist or step-by-step directions, and provide trainings and ongoing support. I'm not for sure, but I'm quite sure even in the free versions that I mentioned, there's a help feature where you can maybe just ask, or an FAQ or something where you can go in and search for assistance on how to get through a module or a certain area that you may be having issues with. And then once you have found that tool that you believe is going to work for your organization, use it consistently. Try not to switch back and forth. Consistency matters because now you begin to build those habits, and you're training yourself and your staff. You're finding those glitches and those bugs early on, and just use it consistently. Stick with something. Don't let it be an ever changing something. And then have a backup. Even if, technology, I've been in certain sites where the technology, the Wi-Fi, the internet is always an issue. So if you need to have a paper resource, it is going to be time consuming. I'm trying to move us away from that, and what we're offering today, but even have a backup. I'm not for sure. I think Mizzen is great because it does give you that mobile ability, and you could use your data plans. You're able to use your phone for that. Class Dojo, I do believe, also has the ability for you to use your mobile device. So let's say your Wi-Fi in the building is just not working well, you can still make use of those mobile applications. So just always make sure that you have a backup if anything fails, because technology, as much as we love it, and it's going to continue to be that thing, will definitely fail you sometimes, okay? So just have a backup plan. And then make sure that whatever tool that you're using, that you have adopted into your program, that it is FERPA compliant. We want to make sure that they are following those federal data protection guidelines, that you guys, like I said, 21st century, I did that for years at Wayne State. We had to make sure our information stayed under lock and key. We did not just leave everything out willy-nilly all over our desks. We protected that information. And if it's something where your grant says you need to keep it for a certain amount of years, you need to know what those amount of years are. So for us, it was 7 years. So we had to make sure, and there was a way that we had to also protect it during our time, and then to get rid of it when it was time. And then limit the data collection. So only gather the essential information. Sometimes you want to get so much information sometimes. But once again, this goes back to FERPA. So if you're getting the essential information, birth dates, if the student, I don't know if you guys are grabbing IEP, that's a whole nother bucket that I believe in out of school time may want to start getting into and targeting. But just make sure that you're only gathering the essential information that you need, and then use those secure storages. I cannot stress this enough, that whatever way you are choosing to use a Google form, see if you can encrypt it. Before you're just allowing that to go out. Protect that information when you're sending that out, even to your funders. Make sure that you are redacting some of those important informations, and you're only giving what is needed around numbers, but not student names. I even told staff at Wayne State when we were going through our trainings that when you are collecting that PQA, anecdotal evidence, do not write that young person's name down. You can use the initial, but you protect that student and do not put their full name down there. I even did it for my staff. I didn't always put my staff name in my notes either when it went out. So make sure that you are using secure storage, lock and key. If you're using your laptop, make sure you can encrypt that file. Make sure you can passcode, password protect all of that information that is essential, okay? All right, I see your hand raised, and we are at the point where we are at Q&A. So good timing. Go ahead and bring yourself off mute and ask a question.
I had 2 questions. Just for a refresher, what's the PQA?
Yes, so the PQA is a tool that's used in 21st century most often. It can be used in high scopes. It came under the high scopes model. So if you're familiar with early childhood education, PQA was built off of the high scopes, and PQA is program quality assessment. So you're looking at your program anywhere from the safety of the program to food and nutrition, program staff. So there are all of these leading indicators with sub indicators on how you're rating. The score is often 1 through 5, and you have to support each one with an anecdotal evidence. I love to use quotes when I'm supporting my score because it helps me as I'm doing that longitudinal search to see what happened 2 years ago. Did it improve? Is my score now 5 when it was a 3? So I always use quotes.
So it's kind of like I do early childhood too, and I'm a licensed special education teacher.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like the ASQ3,
Yes.
a little
Yep.
bit just
Yes, a little bit. It is like that.
okay.
The HSA, I don't know if you've ever heard of that one as well. It's kind of like that one. So it's,
Okay.
yep.
Or the brigades
Well,
inventory or no?
again, not so much because that's more special education, correct? The brigade.
Okay, yes, it is.
Yep.
You have to use that for your IEPs and your
Yes,
ISPs and
for
the
sure. Yep.
diagnostic and assessment and evaluation.
Yep. So that's
Mhm.
definitely you're just looking at that one student at a time. Whereas with the PQA, you're programmatic, you're looking at the entire program, staff to staff, staff to student, student to student observation.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you. Wonderful.
you're welcome. Did I answer all of your questions? Did you have another?
No, I'm just gonna, right now, I'm trying to get to the administration, and this is good for my employees. But I do want to say it's so important to have a paper trail. I keep a paper trail regardless. When I was a teacher, I kept a paper trail. When I did after school, I kept a paper trail. Because sometimes when you work for the school systems, they're how you do after school. I just like it. Maybe I'm old school. Now in my 20s, I wasn't old school. I'm like, show me what's new, show me what's new. But I was telling them next week my birthday. So I'll be 44. So I'm like, oh no, I gotta start. I just like the old school. Like they say, go back to the old school. Not why they say it. So I'm like, nope, I write everything down. And it does come in handy because you have a blackout or anything. I mean, things just happen.
Yes.
So I try to keep my paperwork. I know the state says you have to, if you're doing early childhood, I think it's 4 years. If you licensing, you have to keep them for at least 4 years. So,
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know. And then, there's certain laws. If you have after school people in your program, like she said, you do want to know what the law is saying with kids with disabilities because you can't exclude them out of your after school program. So you have to know how to work all that and still, work it into your program because if they have an IEP or IFSP, it's mandated by law that they follow that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, that is that one area of out of school that we are definitely working on when it comes down to that IEP.
And I can help y'all if y'all want to, because I'm trying not to go back into the classroom. I ain't playing. I do got a master's degree. If you want me to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that offer. And then to going back to your point of your old school, you love paper. I am one who loves paper. My desk is full of notes. Everywhere you're going to see handwritten notes. So, but it's all over. And when you have that one place that you keep it, like on an app, it brings it all, it streamlines it. I would never say get rid of something that is your preference. If that is your preference, I would say stick with it. If that is, I like to say, your jam, if that just gets you, to where you need to go. My only thing is that I will lean back into keeping it secure, making sure that it is locked under lock and key. And that is not looking like my notes right now, where everything's just all over the place over my desk. Nothing here is sensitive, so they don't have to worry. But I just want to just stress that the importance of that, and then the analyzing of it too. Years ago, like you, I also kept paper copies of my surveys, and as working in day school, they put me in a closet. Literally, it was a closet. My desk did not really fit in it well, and it had the pipes coming through it, and so the pipe burst, and all of my paper data, it went all the way up to my second where I kept my paper stored in my desk, and the water rose to where it just destroyed all my paper, every single one of my surveys. I worked in a school district where I had to survey 10th and 11th grade. Imagine the numbers of paper surveys that I had in my desk that were destroyed because of this water was rising up to the bottom of my desk where I kept it secured. So if I would have had a backup where it was already on my computer or my laptop that I took home with me every day, then that would have saved me having to go back and ask these lovely 10th and 11th graders, who sometimes aren't the nicest group, to take this survey over again. So I want us to just really think about how we can grab information, how we collect it, how we analyze it, and definitely how we store that information. So keep all those factors in mind. All right, any other questions that I can answer, or maybe lean into the group to help answer if I cannot? Hearing none, guys, I may be able to give you the gift of time back on this lovely Friday, just by a few minutes. So before we end, if you could take your phone and zap the QR code. So if you're on your laptop, use your phone, zap the QR code. If you are on your phone and you are in need of the survey link, I am going to drop that into the chat box right now so that you can go ahead and grab that as well. All right, here's the link. You need the link. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Once again, if you are on your laptop, go ahead and use your phone and zap the survey QR code. And if you are on your phone and you can't use the QR code feature, then go ahead and click on the link, and that will take you to the very same survey. We value your feedback. It is important to us. We have a data person who works at our organization who looks at all of our data. My ask is that you are very honest about what happened today. That helps us to build out trainings, which ones we want to keep, tweak, make better. So please do that. And also, when you guys take the survey, we're able to provide you with my registry credit for attending this session. Just give us 2 weeks from the time that you take the survey to get that My Registry credit over to you. And if you do not have a My Registry account, I would suggest you go to the Michigan Registry. Just type that right into your Google search bar and sign up. It is free to you. It keeps all of your trainings and everything like that for you. So I would encourage you to do that. Once again, zap that QR code for the survey or click on the link. And I thank you guys so much for attending this session on Friday. You will definitely get your 2 hours of training time after taking the survey. And I hope that this information was important and that it was able to assist you in moving forward with integrating technology into your program.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sonia.
Bye, everybody.